agents of the unexplained. Grab your gear and let's journey into the mysterious world of cryptids and the paranormal. Get ready for an adventure into the unknown. Listen carefully as you're guided through the unexplained and cryptid phenomena that challenge our understanding of reality. Here is your host, Bill Rigby.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be out on a Tuesday night for a change, but I'm really excited about my guest. Tina contacted me not that long ago about a situation to have me help investigate on, because there's more, not the paranormal, psychic type thing. There's more the cryptid, possibly alien. And that made me really excited. Plus, she will be at our Penn, Ohio Paranormal Conference. Hey, Johnny. She will be set up there. She'll be doing readings. Let me bring her in. Miss Tina.
Hello, Bill. Thank you for inviting me tonight.
Oh, I'm excited about having you here tonight. You know, I got so much going on, and it's such a pleasure to take time so I can be here with you. You know, well, you've been listening to me complain, but it's very exciting because you do a hell of a lot, and I'm not going to try to BS to people, but I know you work on the missing people and the whole 9 yards with the police departments.
I do.
And you do a lot of psychic readings for people, not just in this area, but all over the world.
All over the world.
And the reason I say this area, we live in the same county.
Yeah, that's kind of rare. That's rare, yeah.
Yeah, we are the same county. She's north of me. But yes, and before I got to meet her, I've heard so much about her. And no, none was bad, Tina. And that damn flashlight is messing with me again.
Yes, let me point that out. That is my paranormal flashlight up there. I use it in all of my videos, and it may come on or off throughout the night. Tonight's interview, either way, just letting Bill and I know that spirit is with us.
Yes, and when we first got set up and we're sitting there, and she started saying about it, and it went out. I went, oh, now this is going to mess with me all night.
This is something I incorporated into my readings years ago. As an old paranormal investigator, I've used that flashlight to contact spirit in different buildings. But during one reading with a bereaved mother, I could see and feel her daughter, but she couldn't. I took that flashlight and put it on the table, and that mother could feel her child.
So the child's energy was coming from the flashlight, that she was able to feel it.
Right. It's a 6-inch mag light that is real common for paranormal investigators to use. And I have carried that when I have removed some dark, dangerous, and demonic energies too. So my practice covers every aspect of what a psychic medium might cover. There you go. There it is, right there.
Tina, that is so wrong for me.
That is just so everybody sees that there's nothing there.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm right. I was right. God bless it. But yeah. Now, let's talk about the missing cases. We won't go in depth on them, but when the missing person is at the tragic end of it.
Yeah.
How do you convey that? Because to me, that'd be the hardest part of anything, conveying that
Well,
your loved one's gone.
absolutely. And I've got one down near Pittsburgh that is so tragic. What I see and what happened to this woman, that I cannot convey that to her mother. However, the very first missing persons case I went on just happened to be in our little county, a little Stoneboro Lake. A man was
I know
presumed,
before.
and they called me out to see if there was anything that I could do to help locate him. And I immediately tapped into him. Within a couple seconds, I could tell he was just a good old farm boy. He's the kind of guy you'd like to sit and have a cup of coffee or a beer with. And he asked me, he said, "You look the light. You won't find me until my wife and my mother leave," because they had put a big kind of a command post up there trying to find his body.
Right.
This was day 6, and he should have floated by day 4. No signs of the body. But when he told me that you're not going to find me until my wife and my mother leave, he knew that his body was going to be kind of in bad shape.
Right.
So I went over to the crowd and I said, "Can mom and wife leave for a little bit? Maybe go, get a shower, grab a bite to eat." And they weren't even off the property of that little park when
I know
he came
exactly
to
where
me.
you're at.
He came to me again and he told me exactly where he was. I was able to
awesome.
tell the crowd where he would be found, and I was even able to say who was going to find him.
Wow. That's great. I'm going to do something right here. I'm going to add my regular page to this. And so people can catch. Usually I don't put it on my regular page too. Just my agent's podcast page, but I got it on my page. Brian, CARC stands for Catskill Area. Yeah, the Catskill Area Research Consortium. I joined in with them for the broadcast. They asked me if I join up and share my podcast on their thing. They got 16,000 followers, and I said, "Heck yeah!"
Always, heck yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Bonnie. Now, to make a believer out of anybody, you got to be an honest person. Am I right, Tina?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This Bonnie right here, she actually believed me when I said keep an open mind.
I've got somebody touching me on the cheek. Okay, go ahead.
It wasn't me this time.
No.
No. Bonnie sat in on one of my presentations about the paranormal Bigfoot. And I always talk about my sighting was 15 feet from me. I believe it was flesh and blood. But is it? We don't know. And I was very honest about it and very truthful about keeping an open mind. I don't care what it is, keep an open mind. That includes with psychics, with paranormal investigation, cryptid investigation. You always got to have an open mind and try to keep your mind clear so you can catch things.
I got to tell you, I was not a firm believer of Bigfoot or Sasquatch for a lot of years doing what I do until I had my own experience. Then that really validated to me that, yes, there's something else out there. I'm an avid hunter. I'm an avid fisherman. Over the winter, when most people were bundled up, I was 3 days a week, I'm in the woods. And I had never had an experience, but the first experience I had that changed my mind was floating down the Little Shenango, the upper end of the Little Shenango River in a kayak, and hearing trees being knocked over.
Yeah.
We would float another 100 yards down the river, another tree would crash over. We'd float another 100 yards, and there's nothing else that could have kept up with us and crashed the biggest trees that they could make noise with.
Yes.
So as a psychic and as a medium, of course, I'd really dialed in then, and they absolutely are real, and they are interdimensional. That is why that light came on, just to validate that. And that is why we cannot always see and find them. They are interdimensional.
And I'm leaning that way. I'm not totally convinced yet. Okay. Reason of their tracks. There's a trackway in these people's backyard, in the middle of the backyard, nothing around it. The house is way up over this way. The tree line's way over that way. There's no dog boxes, nothing. The trackway stops. Where'd they go? We don't know. Until they didn't back up in their footsteps, which would have been kind of hard to hit everyone straight and right on. So where in the hell did they go?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And I'm kind of like my wife on this part of it. The thing is, when you don't see something, even though my wife believed me that I had that experience of 15 feet away from me, she never seen one. She did not believe in it. She said, but I believe in you. And I'm like, that ain't making sense. Well, I haven't seen one yet. She did get to see one. So now she's a believer.
Sometimes sometimes we have to see it with our eyes in order to believe it. I did not physically get to see what was following us down the river. However, my spidey senses and the hair on the back of my neck told me exactly what was there.
Yep. Brian S. says he's never had an encounter, but after listening to mountains of firsthand account, he definitely believes in the fact that they are interdimensional. And this is where I say keep an open mind too. Don't close your mind off on just interdimensional, Brian, because they could be aliens. There's a possibility of that. But like BJ said, she believes that they're both interdimensional and flesh and blood. I believe they can be flesh and blood and be interdimensional.
Yes.
And the light come on again.
Yep, you got validation when you said that, Bill. Big time.
But you got to keep an open mind. You can't close off like a lot of people do. A lot of groups. You're either flesh and blood, or you're interdimensional, or you're an alien. No. And I got kicked out of a few groups because I said I don't know for sure what they are. It's like Oh, well, you guys are that close-minded. I don't want to associate with you because you're not going to teach me anything. You're just going to
Yeah,
stick with what you think you know. Uh,
exactly. And I
uh,
get that all the time. I get that all the time when clients come to me. Usually it's they've had some kind of tragedy, and
mhm.
they may not have been believers before, and they were skeptical. And once I could give them, I'm what you call an evidential medium. I give them evidence of exactly what they're wanting to connection they want to make. I might be able to tell them about grandma's wallpaper when they were kids in the dining room. I talked to this one lady and I told her, you took mashed potatoes and put it in the wallpaper when you were a little kid. And she said, why, yes, I did. How did you know that?
They used
And
to
it
use
says,
mashed potatoes as paste.
yeah, yes.
My grandmother taught me that one.
Yep, flour and water too back in the day.
Yep. My mom used flour and water because she didn't have enough paste. And she wanted to get it done that night. Yes. So, for you to share that with the person, that much evidence, that's a connection.
And I often get, especially when I'm doing mediumship, they often give me little tidbits that that person that's here needing the message, just that little thing that they might just need, and something that validates to them that I am talking to their loved one. As a matter of fact, in that particular situation, I told that lady what color the wallpaper was. I told her she was sitting with her other little cousin at the children's table and that they would paint the flowers on grandma's wallpaper with their mashed potatoes. Thank you, Spirit on the light.
Yeah.
And I literally validate, and I usually give, like I said, evidence that I'm in connection with your loved one.
Yeah, and that helps validate everything. And now I'm going to change it up a little bit. And I'm going to use me as an example with this one. I got two of them. The first one was I had this dream about my mother and grandmother. And they were telling me how proud they were of what I've been doing. And that's the research, the podcast, and all that. And my mom's been dead since 96. My grandmother's been dead since 86. How often do you have the people? Oh, this is going to make me cry. This is going to make me cry. How often do you have people telling you about their dreams and things going on? And how much facts to it?
That's a pretty common question. People often come to me and tell me that they just had a dream. Usually it might be something scary. And I tell them 9 times out of 10, that's just your fears coming to the surface. But in a situation like your dream, Bill, you had a visitation. They came to you. When we are sleeping, our brain goes into a phase that they can easily contact us from the other side. And if you wake up from that dream and you still feel a little shaken, like, oh, they were just here, or you feel that grief like they just passed, you know that was them. And as a matter of fact, before we even started the interview, I could feel somebody's energy behind you. I could feel a woman present with you, and I was almost certain it was your mother. And then when you brought that question up, bam. They
that light
so
came on too. And it's like, oh, shit. Yeah, man.
bingo. They are proud of you because number one, it wasn't even something that they thought was a real thing. And you're stepping out for it. you take a lot of flack for what you do because so many people don't believe, and they are proud of you for keeping out there, keeping
Yeah,
it in the limelight, and educating people.
I try. I try. Yeah, and that's something my grandmother instilled in me. Always be honest and tell it from your heart. And that's what I've done. And when people start ridiculing me, I says, believe what you want to believe. I know what I saw, and why would I lie to you about this? I says, it affected me really, really bad. I actually put me in PTSD because I got scared so bad because I never got scared in my life. Uh, Hi, Amy. Um,
Hi,
they,
Amy.
you know, I don't care if they believe me or not. You know, I, that's on them. If they don't want to believe me, that's on them. I'm not going to lie to them. Hey, my buddy Val, how you doing? Um, you know, but to have my mom and grandmother come to me in that dream, it just, and I woke up. Yeah, we just quit messing with me now, mom. um, she's paying me back all those years of aggravation I gave her.
No, no doubt, Bill.
No.
Absolutely.
Oh, I gave her some. But the thing is that I felt validated when I woke up, very validated. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but this is a dream. And
And
I even,
that's an emotion. That's an emotion that you can't fake. That you felt validated. You either did or you didn't, and it's nothing to fake. What you felt was a valid connection to those people being there with you in spirit.
uh, and I feel like they were right there with me. And them being proud of me.
Yeah,
Really, really, and I felt really great when I got out and feeling that validation. And I did talk about it on a live I did later that day about how they were in my dream and I felt validated that they support me with this. And it was weird. It's a weird feeling to have that and have them so real in the dream.
absolutely, absolutely. It'll change your life. The first time you get validated feeling spirit, it's very much like a Bigfoot encounter, because once you do get that validation and your eyes are open to the fact that there's a whole lot more out there that we can't see that
Yes.
does exist.
And that's the thing. When I was looking for the Bigfoot and I actually saw him, I was told I shouldn't have got scared like I did. But at 15 feet away, yes, I did. you know, um, he's only around 7 foot tall. Um, you know, the thing is, I went into PTSD. Kumbo Baker ended up calling me because he heard about it and heard how it totally blew me off the game where I almost didn't go back out researching for this. And there's so many more questions to ask. So I needed that talk, not just Kumbo, but he's one of the more famous people that contacted me out of the blue. I did not know him from Adam. He got my phone number for someone else to call me and talk to me. And he told me about his situations and his sightings and all that. And told me, get out there and start talking about it. Well, it took me a little bit, and I did. Excuse me. So that
Yeah,
helped.
there's a little bit of a stigma around being the person that sees it.
Yep.
it's hard because a lot of people don't want to come out and talk about their experiences.
Yeah, and Amy, I saw it at Salt Fork State Park, the group camp area on Buckeye Trail. We're only a few hundred yards down the Buckeye Trail, and it was knelt down staring at me, waiting on me to come by. I really do believe that. But
Now, you said it was about 7 feet tall. Do
yeah,
you feel that that may have been a young or a juvenile?
I believe he was a juvenile. I believe,
Because
and
that's what I'm picking that up too.
the reason I'm saying that, Tina, is because I think it was doing the old Indian game of count and coup, where they try to get as close to you without you knowing it,
Yeah.
even touching you, and you don't see them. I
Yeah.
believe that's what it was doing.
Yes,
I could be
because
wrong.
an older being, no matter whether it was Sasquatch or a human, we don't need to prove that to ourselves. That young one was up there exactly like you said, up there wanting to get close so he can count coup.
Yep. And it's an interesting situation because Mr. I never got scared a day in my life, got scared. And so that is a thing. And and I've been in some really crazy situations, from being in the service, the firefighting, the ambulances, running on them, not just riding them, but running on them. In the middle of a gunfight, running out saving a kid, I never got scared. Not I got startled, but never got scared.
I think one of the things that really caused you to have that much fear was you literally connected with its energy. You felt how powerful that thing was, even if it was young or juvenile. It emitted enough energy from itself that you were able to feel it and acknowledge it.
Boy, did I feel it. I'm laughing a little bit here, but no, it's the pure panic I felt. And I couldn't help keep staring at it, but I would not look in the eyes. I refused to look in the eyes. And Val, don't start on that. It was a bear, right? Oh my God. I'll go on that one in a minute. But just seeing it and the pure panic I hit by seeing the muscle tones on it, because I was that damn close. And I seen the head. I seen the shape of the head. I seen a little bit of teeth, like it was grinning. I'm not sure if it was grinning or gritting. The hair color was dark brown. The skin color was darker brown. It was just
any smell? Any smell?
No. Not at all. Now, Matthew,
James?
you're right. Hi, Danny. Hi, James. The thing is, as soon as you peer into its eyes, you upon up yourself to peering into its soul. No, I'd rather see the soul of it, see what. But I grew up as a hunter. If I'm hunting a predator and you see one close, do not stare it down eye to eye. That's showing aggression. And I did not want to show aggression. Not that close, as big as it was. Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the chest, the arms, Arnold Schwarzenegger would have been impressed.
And I use that same technique when I'm dealing with a demonic entity. I don't look it in the eye at all. You don't throw down that challenge.
No, you don't, because you can end up losing that challenge. And I really enjoy the idea that I actually had a sighting. I don't enjoy the feeling I had having it, if you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I didn't get to see mine that day that I had that experience on the river. However, it impacted me almost as much as you. It was something completely out of the realm of what I've ever experienced, and it really initiated that pure terror, pure panic.
Yes. And that panic is something. I hate it. And I don't ever want to feel it again. And, one time in my life was enough. Because, I put myself in some really bad situations throughout my life where something bad could have happened to me and it didn't. And I was never scared like that. I was on my toes, but I wasn't scared. So that, you're in British Columbia. Oh, that's cool, Matt.
Yeah. Hopefully you have a sighting up there.
Be careful what you wish for, though. I'm a witness to that one. Be careful. Because I wanted a sighting. And up to that point, I believed in DNA. Yes. I believed that we needed DNA. I don't believe in that now. I had my sighting. I know they're out there. Now I want to know what, why, where, and how come.
Yep. DNA and remains. The same thing in my field, especially if I'm looking for a body, and let's say I locate the wrong body, not the one we're looking for. So You've got to have that DNA. You've got to have autopsy, that kind of evidence to prove it. Well, that's why so many people have a hard time believing, is because we just don't have that proof to show to them.
Right. More of a primate type face, Brian. It had the high bridge brow up here, the big boxer nose, I call it. The color of eyes, I'll never know. Unless it comes up and grabs me and says, stare in my eyes, and then I'll know. Before I die of fright. But, the trapezius muscles in its neck, even at a young age, you hardly saw a neck. The hair was 6-8 inches long. And I'm throwing 8 inches because that might be a little too long. But it covered the whole body, came around the face, didn't cover up the whole face. And when I went to stand up, it brought his hands up. So I saw the dark brown in the hands, which was darker than the hair. The dark brown around the face was darker than the hair.
Brian wants to know, was it more human or more primate?
That's what I was saying. It was more primate. And there is a lot of different variation, Brian. Like you said, like us humans. Different sizes, different shapes, different color. Yeah. Since I started researching really heavy, I had hundreds of reports that, you know, they're not identical twins, triplets, quadruplets, forever, you know. Um, that's always something else out there for me to ask you, Tina.
Well, whatever you had on your mind, the light already caught your thought.
Yes.
And was going there with you. You stopped. You hesitated. What were you going to say? See, it's going again. Twins. It's going to give you another.
Twins. Have you ever come across that with your abilities?
Humans or Bigfoot?
Humans.
No, you know what? No, I have not had anything to do with twins. But I do get the information that psychically that I pick up from the other side is telling me that oftentimes the mother Bigfoot will have twins or triplets, and they do look very commonly. Sometimes they will look identical, and other times they are fraternal, just like we can have fraternal twins and not look alike.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's goes back to the other question. Oh, Sparky, got a question for you.
All right, get up there.
Yeah.
We got a bulldog butt.
Sparky asked, Tina, when you had your experience in the kayak, did you feel anything psychologically?
Yeah.
Psychically or whatever?
Yep. I did, Sparky. I got a chill that ran right straight down my spine. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. I am like Bill. I have been in enough. There's a light going on. I have been in enough experiences in life, kind of crazy, dangerous stuff. So, that kind of thing didn't scare me. And I was probably 100 yards away from what it was doing and still felt that the spidey senses came up, and I wanted to paddle down the river and get away from it.
Yeah, I don't blame
you. The strange part about it, there were 4 of us floating down the river that day. And when we heard the first tree crash, everybody kind of stopped and we kind of looked around at each other because it was very odd, very quiet. And then all of a sudden, one tree crashes. We didn't say anything, and we had a little beer and we floated a little more. And like I said, 100 yards down the river, another tree crashed, a big one. Again, nobody said anything. The other people in my group were so scared. They never said what they even thought it was. It wasn't until the ex and I got home that we talked about it. And I said, why did you stay quiet? And he said, why did you stay quiet? We were scared to death.
Yep. Very much so. And I do understand that one very much. Sparky had a tree thrown at him. So he knows that feeling too. Amy, yes. Cambridge Springs. I was up on a report up there. I went and investigated. And yes, it was a big one. And that's before I had my sighting. If I would have ran into that sucker 15 feet away, I would have had a heart failure, guaranteed. I saw the pictures to it. Before we went up, you could tell what it was and how big it was. So with that being said, Um, it is, crazy. The sightings. I had them up in Michigan. I've had them up in New York. Reports of them. All over Pennsylvania, Ohio, even some in West Virginia. Yeah, and there's a lot down in West Virginia. But if I get a report, I send it down to Brian Seach, Fred Saluga, or Les Odell. That's their areas.
No,
You're right, Matt.
I'm a stone's throw away from Ashtabula County,
Yeah.
where I live up here in Jamestown. And I know at one time, Ashtabula County, Ohio, had one of the highest sighting rates of Bigfoot and Sasquatch for quite a while.
Yes. And there's Miss Linda Sigmund, an eyewitness to the Mothman. She's out there. How you doing, Linda? Love the lady. She's a great lady. And something Matt said too. Rocks are one thing. When they start throwing trees, that's a whole new ball game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, the particular part of the river on the upper Little Shenango, we were floating down. I was paying attention to the bank off to the left because I could see a man in spirit. He was wearing a plaid shirt, bib overhauls, and he was driving a team of mules. And it was where the old towpath was on the Erie Canal. So I was paying attention to the apparition that I saw and had no idea that I was going to hear those trees crash. And that happened 3 times. We heard the first tree crash. We floated. Heard a second tree crash. We floated another 100 yards and then heard a third tree. That definitely was trying to let us know that it was there.
Well, with my sighting, we had little stones or little nuts tossed up from the left side up at May, Mike Bennett, and Debbie Preggy. That's the 3 of us was walking in together from the left side. We go in about 90 paces, stop, look around, listen, see what we can see as we're going in. It's just getting dark. Did that 3-4 times. Finally, Debbie says, that's enough. I'm too scared to go because of what's getting thrown up from the left. I thought it was maybe another camper or something sneaking up around just to scare us.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going ahead. You stay there with Mike. Mike got a gun on him, so you should be safe. I go up. I kneeled down. Debbie had this little scope, and I was going to use it. I got it up, and I started adjusting it. And out of the corner of my right eye now, I saw a little movement. And that's when I turned and looked, and there it was. And it was just crazy. It wasn't from the left side, so something was tossing up nuts from the left side. And it sure in hell didn't run behind us to get up to in front of us on the right side. There ain't no way, or we would have heard it. I didn't hear him. Actually, I didn't even hear him when he got up and went down over the hill. But then again, being so paranoid at the time.
That's another trait they seem to have too. Almost like they are Native American and they are silent when they move.
Yep. And that's silent. That's what I tell people. You usually don't hear a bear walk up on you in the woods unless they're scrounging for something. And
I've had that.
Yeah. Me too. Eh, And the thing that Val said, it was just a bear. Um, I had so many people say that to me. Sure, it wasn't a bear. No, I'm positive it wasn't. Um, no, I spent too much time in the woods. I'm positive. And instead of looking at him saying, "You're an idiot," so instead I made up shirts with a Bigfoot walking and said, "It's just a bear." And Linda Sigmund wants to know, what do you think Bigfoot is?
I I think it is absolutely just as Bill described, something primate like, but I feel that it is interdimensional. It knows how to access the portals in the woods, and every woods has probably a couple little portals, a couple little energy vortexes, and they stay close to that energy, and they can slip right through that other side, just like stepping behind a magic curtain. They just
Well,
have that ability. And I do feel they're interdimensional and they come and go.
and I'll say this to that. If you grew up in the big bad town of Pittsburgh, Cleveland, wherever, these big towns, you're very street smart. These things are living in the woods. They are very wood
Yep.
smart. They know where everything's at in their area. Yeah, the area they travel. So they would know where a portal's at or some
Yeah.
kind of energy field, or the whole 9 yards. Or they know how to hide amongst the trees, make you think they're not
Yes.
there. I believe this totally. You know, um, but then again, I can be wrong. you know, uh, I got
I
to throw
don't
that out
think
there.
you are, Bill. I think the street smart was a good analogy.
And I've used that a lot since I start researching them real heavy. Uh, Native blood hybrids, maybe so. Tina, what do you think? Linda just asked that. Like Tina said, maybe part native blood
Well,
hybrids.
they are absolutely native somewhere, absolutely. And even if you look at, let's go over to Australia and look at some of the Aboriginal people that live there. A lot of them have that prominent brow bone.
Right.
And with that prominent brow bone, just like with Bigfoot, that tells us that there is a brain back there that is able to process what we can't. Now, those Aboriginal people from Australia know north, south, east, or west, no matter where you put them, no matter where you turn them. They can dial in on it just by using their senses. And obviously, Sasquatch has that ability, able to dial in. It has that those sixth sense. Absolutely, they
Yeah.
know we're there before we know they are.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. I agree with that. My buddy Danny has a thing there. Do you think when you're camping in the woods and they get close to camp, can they get into your dreams?
Oh, now that's a good question. You know what? I imagine they could. Um, they are actually very highly intelligent. Let's call it, instead of street smart, let's call it stick smart. They're out there in the sticks. They know every one of them. They are,
yeah.
yeah, they are highly intelligent. Absolutely. They might not be able to read a book, but they can survive in the woods.
Yes. Um, I know there's one native tribes on the BC coast that has tradition to become chief. Have to go out in the woods for no less than 10 years. No interaction with people. If you come back, you become chief. Oh, I never knew that one. Many did not
If
come
you come
back.
back.
Yeah, and many
Yeah.
didn't. What do you think about the dog man?
Let's see. Let's see. Now, I haven't had any personal experience with the dog man. I actually feel like that's an apparition. Um,
I'm
not
going to disagree.
necessarily. No, not necessarily solid all of the time. The same way that when I'm dealing with spirit and apparitions, they can come in, look very solid, be very solid, but then again, vanish and disappear. So I think a lot of what Dogman, Mothman, definitely Sasquatch, they have that ability that they can be materialized and be there and then again be gone.
Well, we've had several dogman reported sightings in the Mercer County too, Tina. And the one I took was right out on the edge of town here. And this young man, I know the family, and I know he ain't a liar. And he saw one as he's walking the trail back to go fishing along the Shenango River. And they came up from the river and into the little wooded area, but it still turned and looked at it. We had dogman reports out in South Pymatumey, up in Enfield Township, the city of Farrell. So I believe they're more than an apparition. And I know they're not being misidentified by too many reports of it. Some of them is BS. I ain't doubting that. We got like 7 minutes. I'm watching the time since I got to be on that show at 10 after 8.
Bill's got another date after me.
Yeah.
How can we find or detect any of these portals? Now, a lot of times you can feel them. I can feel a portal or a vortex in the woods when I'm walking through. However, if you're brand new at it, get yourself a set of these dowsing rods. And as you walk through the woods, they will separate or they will come together right over a vortex or a ley line. I can feel it though myself.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sparky and I have been out several times. We got to get back out, but our timing hasn't been meshing lately. But the thing is, Sparky and I have come across some other things in that. In an interdimensional being of some sort. Well, you might be right too, Matt.
And that's my feeling. That's why I feel like at times they can project themselves almost like an entity, and then they can materialize and they can be solid. I think every cryptid has that ability to be there or not be there.
Oh, Val, she made dowsing rods from a metal hanger. Do they work as well? They seem to.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hell, you can make them out of sticks.
The best ones are made out of cherry wood. When the old timers dowsed looking for water, yeah, light came on.
Yep. Plain and simple. I sold several at different conferences I was at. I got to reorder some for people. I haven't done it. But the thing is, we got 5 minutes left. So, anyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you didn't already. Tina, tell us about yours and how to get to it.
I will post my link in the comments so that you guys can find me. I do have a YouTube channel. A lot of it is just basic tarot, astrology. I touch on a lot of these other topics from time to time, but yeah, come on over and find me.
Yeah. And if you find her on Facebook, you got a lot of inspirational messages that you put on 2, 3, 4 times a day. And they're very, very good.
When you're doing the work I do, when you're doing the work I do, you have to stay upbeat because most of the time I deal with the dead or the dying. So you've got to keep motivated and stay upbeat.
Yes, and that's the thing. And Bonnie, you're coming Saturday. Hell yes. I thought BJ was going to leave you behind. I was going to be mad at her. But yeah, definitely check her out. And Sparky, I got duct tape for you. We're going to tape that mouth shut while you're giving your talk Saturday.
I'll be there Saturday too. I'll be there Saturday too. So make sure you guys all stop over and say hello to me.
Yes, definitely stop over and see Tina. Great lady. And thank you, Tina, so much. Seriously.
Thank you, Bill.
We're going to do this again.
Yeah. You know what? We need to go out and do some hunting together.
Sounds like fun.
Yep. It's been a while since I got to hang out with Sparky. So.
Hey, I can bring him along.
Well, heck yeah. We need somebody to hold the light.
We need someone that we can run faster.
Yeah. There you go.
Man, sorry to hear that one, Matt. But yes, definitely. We definitely got to get together. We got to do this again because we got to cover a lot more stuff. Sparky will trip my ass.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I appreciate you so much for being here. And everyone, glad you all were here to hear this. I will be doing another podcast on my regular time tomorrow at 7:00. We had to do a special time for Tina since she's such a special lady. So tomorrow night, I got Shane Corson. He's a Bigfoot researcher, very well liked and known. And I'm so happy to have him on tomorrow evening. He's a great guy. So if you're able to tune in tomorrow night on the Agents of the Unexplained podcast page on Facebook or YouTube. And Tina, put it in the comments. Hurry up.
My link?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to get off of here before I can do that, but I will get it. So make sure you guys scroll back through the comments.
Yes. And I'll be on UPNR radio here at 8:10 with Sean Kelly. We'll be talking about my event and crazy things that are happening in Pennsylvania. No, I'm not talking politics. Take care.
Yeah, really. No politics.
We'll see you, Tina. Thank you.
Good night, Bill.
Yeah. Good night, all. And make sure you hook up with Tina. Check out her YouTube channel. Check her out on Facebook. Matthew, you're 110% right on that last comment. Good night, all. I will see you later.
Thank you for tuning in to the Agents of the Unexplained. please visit our website at agentsoftheunexplained.net for unique paranormal merchandise like t-shirts, books, and coffee mugs. Join our Facebook group and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more thrilling content. Until next time, keep questioning the unexplainable.